What's up, YouTube? We're back today in the garage, and I have some exciting news. As you can see right here, we finally got the head back, so it's all cleaned up. It took longer than I was expecting, and it cost more, but we have it. So I have already started with the bay. I have already blown out with compressed air all the bolt holes. I've chased all the threads to make sure they're good. Now we just need to spray the head gasket with some copper spray gasket. Alright, it is time to start putting the studs in. So hand tight with a little bit of lube, but we'll get started. Alright, so you probably saw me in the time lapse just kind of standing around. That's because I had a mini panic attack because I went to go do these first two studs, and as you can see, they don't thread all the way in. So I was freaking out, but I messaged one of my buddies who has a 7M, and he said they don't thread in, so we're good to keep going. Alright, while the copper spray on the head gasket is drying, I have the last 4 studs right here. You can't see them because they're out of frame, but the last 4 studs, but they're not going in yet because you cannot get the head on with the farthest back 4 studs in. But for right now, we have to dive back into the head, and pull the cams off because the bolts for the head are underneath the cams. So this is fresh back from the machine shop, we gotta dive in and tear it back down. So let's get started. Alrighty, so the head is torn down to just the head, no more cams. They're on the shelf. Got all the bolts here. The head gasket is in, which is exciting. So I'm gonna start with putting the head in but I have to change the battery or this camera's gonna die. So we'll get right to that. Alright, I'm gonna put the head on, and it's heavy as hell, so wish me luck. Alright, it is the next day, but it is time to finally get the head fully bolted in and hopefully get the cams in as well. So, to do so, I'm going to have to put in the bolts from ARP, and then I'm gonna have to get and obviously torque them all down and stuff, and then I have to get the cams off the shelf right there, put those in, torque everything down, and then I can at least put the valve covers on temporarily, not permanently, because I still want to, I think, paint them. I don't know, haven't decided, but let's get right to that. Alright, so what you just saw in that last clip was a pain in the ass. So essentially ARP comes with these washers that sit down around the stud, and they were not clearing the head. So to get them on, I had to pull all the studs back out, put the washers back individually, and then put them back in. So, oh well. Alright, time to actually get on to putting the head on officially. Alright, so it's 2 days later. I finally have the right size socket to actually be able to torque the head bolts down, or the head studs. So I put all the little bolts in, if you can see them. They're all in, and it is time to start torquing. So let's get started. Alright, we are all torqued down. I did one pass at 30, one pass at 60, one pass at 90, which is what ARP recommends. I'm going to throw an image up on the screen of the torquing order and all the recommendations or whatever, using grease, blah blah blah. But now we're going to check top dead center one last time before we throw the cams in. Now on the 7M GTE, at least as far as I've read, the best way to find top dead center is, if you can see, alright, there's a little blue mark. We want that blue mark to be pointing squarely dead center at 0. So I'm going to move it over a little bit, real quick. Sorry. So you can see that mark. The camera will focus. Oh, I went too far.
1 hour later.
There it is. And there we are. Top dead center. Ah! Zoom. Alright, so now that the motor is properly in time and is ready to receive the cams, we are now going to apply well, there's no adequate amount of assembly. We're going to apply assembly lube and then slap the cams in. So, time lapse. so I just realized that the camera wasn't rolling, but I went ahead and threw the cam gears on, and the valve covers are just sitting on there. I replaced the gaskets, but so the motor is fully assembled as far as the long block goes. Doesn't have any manifolds or anything, but most of it's there, which is good. So I think I'm going to wrap that up here today, and in the next video I'll start putting the turbo and the intake back on. Alright, that's going to wrap it up for today. Remember, like, comment, subscribe if you enjoy stuff like this. There's obviously plenty more to come because the car doesn't run yet. That's next. We'll get there. But remember to like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and stay tuned for more. See ya.